Bet Online is the fastest and easiest way to wager on all your favorite sports contests and events with first to market odds and lines. Now, find reviews and news for every league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, esports, and even golf. Bet Online continues to be the top online resource for all sports information from live in-game betting props and futures. Head to Bet Online today or use your mobile device to join today and make your first sports bet. Now, use our promo code BLEAV50 to receive your 50%. Welcome your bonus on your first deposit. Now, Bet Online is where the game starts.
What's going on, Bills Mafia? Welcome to another episode of Believe in Bills podcast. Hey, another win, another week, another win. It always feels good to have a victory week. Bills had a big game, and said we're here to talk about it. And I'm joined, of course, as always, with the two legends. We got Muki Hawkins coming in himself, as well as Ruben Brown, the legendary guard for Buffalo Bills. We got a great show for you guys. We're going to talk about it a little bit. But first of all, we're going to get started with kickoff. And Bills win 4 straight. Muki, what's the Bills' plan, here going forward with, they looking dominant. And, I mean, they almost look too dominant to the point where they looked almost bored, but they looking good, and they run off 4 straight.
Yeah, I mean, this marks the long time since I think 93 that the Bills are 6-1. Is that status correct or something like that? Like they've been 6-1. It's been that long since they've been 6-1, man.
You sure?
Wow, I don't know, but I guess it's as expected. I mean, the only thing that's not looking good on the Bills' record is the loss to Miami, obviously, right? So, Bills are going to do a good job of stacking the dubs, taking it 1 week at a time. Right now they're going to start experiencing, really getting the team's best. Even if the team is not that good, they're going to get that team's best for that specific day. So, the Bills definitely got to tighten some things up. And, because right now they're going to get every team's best right now. So, winning 4 straight is definitely, a good start, to start the, the first, 6-7 games of the season. The Bills are off to a good start so far.
How would you rate the team's play Sunday night?
Sunday night?
Yeah.
Say a C. I don't know if it was the bye week.
Coach is hard. He got to be hard.
C.
Coach got to be hard though. Just
yeah, it's a C.
Coach is hard.
C, and to beat Aaron Rodgers by double digits.
Yeah.
What does that say about how good this team is? Like,
the team is really good, but I don't know what it was Sunday. I don't know if they just got up to 17 and then put it on cruise control, like they took the foot off the gas or something. I don't know what was going on, or Green Bay made the adjustments to start running the ball. I think the Bills were kind of shocked that Green Bay was running the ball down 17. Normally, it's the other way around. You got to pass it to get back into the ball game, but Green Bay was running the ball to the point where Von Miller had to go over to Aaron Rodgers, like, damn, bro, when y'all gonna throw the ball?
And I mean,
it just got to a point where I don't know if the Bills got lackadaisical, didn't want to tackle because they felt that the game was over, and Green Bay almost got back into it. So, for them to just this on just simple fundamentals of blocking and tackling in some phases of that game Sunday, I got to get those guys a C on that. I mean, Josh Allen, doing goofy shit with the football instead of just throwing it away. Instead of just throwing it away, you want to throw it low and away. We know you was trying to make a play low and away, but you wasn't on the same. You wasn't on the same pace with your receiver, but Jair Alexander ended up being on the same page with you and picking it off. So, those are certain situations that Josh Allen know that he shouldn't be doing. You take points off the board, and that game right there, that could have been vital because it happened a few times where the Bills left a lot of points on the scoreboard to the point where it should have been at least a 3-possession ball game. But, due to those mishaps and stuff like that, or I don't know if they were just taking things for granted, just didn't go well, offensively. And they can't afford to do that going into this week in New York or any other team for that matter. They can't afford to play like that again.
Yeah, New York will take the ball away. Their defense is pretty good. It looked like a game where they kind of maybe weren't in it the second half to me. Josh was just trying to, I don't know, to me, it was like they came out and was like, we're going to assert our dominance. Y'all say we can't run, bet we're going to show you that we can. And that's all they wanted to prove to me. It was like, yeah, we just going to come out here. We're not even going to use Josh Allen, and we're just going to run the ball and beat this team, right? I don't know. That's just how it looked to me. Because I had my first opportunity to sit front row, so it was pretty cool. And I was like, oh, wow, they just running in after running in after running it. So I don't know. But what you think of the game, Ruben? What was your takeaway from it?
You see the smile on my face? That's what I'm talking about, Buffalo. I actually would grade them higher, Muki. And I get what you're saying. I totally understand, and I agree. To the style that they had been playing up to now, what we've expected from them up to now, they look like they took the foot off the gas. But in reality, they just changed gears on us really fast, real quick, and we didn't realize it until the second half because they attacked this team differently than they've attacked any team this entire season. Every game this season, this team has come out of the huddle, very first of the play of the game, and went downfield, attacking deep and often and finding all the little spots that within the opponent's defense that really ended up being explosive plays once they found those one-on-one matchups. Well, here in this game, this is where I think they're smart. They did not look like them normal self in the second half, but I think they are smart to start establishing a run identity to go along with their passing brilliance. I mean, really. And now with adding that aspect and just a week, I was excited because a week before when I saw the run that Gilliam was getting, I'm like, oh man, we about to go into an I formation and 2 tight ends or something and run some old school. But they didn't do that. Gilliam didn't get the ball like that, or they didn't use him in that way. They actually did the run out of different looks and formations, but aggressive attacking runs. These weren't just, here's a bone to the running back. They didn't do that. They legitimately came out and gave it to the running back and gave him a shot to be an effective part of the game. Now, if I'm an opposing team's coach, I'm nervous. I'm nervous because all games leading up to now, our philosophy would have been, let's get pressure up there on Josh and do everything we can with Josh. Now it's like, oh, wait a minute. They got a running game. Uh-oh, people. So I'm happy. I'm sad that, they didn't look like the Bills had their foot on the gas the entire time, but I think it was a smart philosophy for them to implement something that's going to be useful down the road, that's going to be right now is the time of the year when if you are and pay attention across the board, every team that will be successful further in this league at this point in time of year will be the teams that can run the ball. All right. And it's always been true. It will never change. And the Bills just took a huge step in adding more to their repertoire where, hey, if Josh has a hangnail one day and just things ain't happening, we can get something going in the run game. So I give them a little bit more than a C. But look, Mook, I ain't mad at you for being hard on them. You the coach. You should be hard on their ass. You know what I mean? They should score a touchdown every time they touch the ball.
All right, so I get what you're saying, and before we kind of move more into the run game, I do have to ask you, Ruben. Does it worry you a little bit how rusty Josh was when the run game was emphasized?
Yeah, and I'm thankful we were able to play. I wish we could. All right, Green Bay is a team you can do that with because they got a lot of problems and very vulnerable for us to win. We came into that game feeling we should win this game. So when you have that type of game and you get a couple of points on the board, now you try to work in some other stuff that you wouldn't have had the opportunity to use any other time. So it's okay that Josh is a little rusty with a different little twist to their offense because it's good to get it. It's on film. It was rusty, but they won the game. And when they play a better opponent, I'm sure he'll look even better and more decisive with the running package that they implement.
All right, fair enough. All right, Muki, we got a question from the comments. My boy Julian from Mafia Talks. He asks, are you concerned that our run defense, that Aaron Jones was hitting the holes and getting great yardage? Was it the game plan or is it something we need to fix?
Well, I asked Leslie Frazier that yesterday. I mean, with the Bills coming in, number one rush defense in the NFL at 76 yards a game. For Green Bay to come in here and run for over 200 yards like they were basically last in the league when it come down to stopping the run, did it alert you to add another defensive wrinkle? And the reason why I asked, did it alert him to add another defensive wrinkle is that he's going to see those plays again. It is a copycat league. It says the Buffalo Bills we're talking about. Green Bay was able to find some success running and trapping off the edges. And, they'll say what they want to say. Leslie Frazier, you're going to have to start blitzing, guys. If you're not blitzing, then teams are going to be running their edges on you. It was quite evident versus that Green Bay. And, Sunday's game, if you want to just sit back there and just rely on your front four to try to get pressure, you're not going to be able to do that in the run game. And we're just going to trap off the edges, send our guards upstairs to those linebackers. And, man, you see how those holes is wide open off the edge there. So the Bills definitely have to fix that. I'm quite sure Leslie Frazier, he basically in so many words that, they saw the tape yesterday and, they're on making arrangements as we speak on how to stop that because, Leslie Frazier said it himself. It's a copycat league and he's going to see that again. So has to be prepared for it. He definitely does.
Mook, I'm wondering, for the Buffalo Bills on that end of things, we know they can get out after the passer with just four guys, and that's been on display since the beginning of the season, very first games. Do you think this issue that showed its face with the run game this against Green Bay is something that's always been there, but the explosiveness of our offense has been able to mask that because other teams can't run it when Josh is just dropping bombs? To
be fair, the Packers shouldn't have been running it, but they were. So
yes, but to the Packers issue, and am I right or wrong on this? The Packers can't do nothing but run. Because right. I don't think they can pass. Can they pass? When they pass, they're not that good at it, right? So really the only thing that they can do is run. And I think when there's a team, let me go back. Green Bay has been fortunate over the past few years. If they get in a battle with a team, they could get out of it with the arm of Aaron Rodgers, they had some receivers, and they didn't have to rely on no running game for nothing. They had running game in the past, right? There's been some run in Green Bay in the past, but they didn't rely on the run game per se. No, they never have. It's been Aaron. But this year, This year, Aaron ain't doing it, and they don't have the receivers to help. So some teams wouldn't even be able to run, but for some reason, Green Bay has the ability to run, and I think they can run against most any team. I mean, they've been effective with some run plays. They just ain't. Their team is not together. Their team is a mess. You know what I mean? So for our defense, this might shine a light on something that we got to keep our eye on and keep close attention to, because I'll give you guys some, like as a player, if I go out and I'm playing John Randall, right? John Randall was known for pass rushing and attacking the passer. I'd be like, can we get a lot of run plays? Because I got John Randall all day. I got Warren Sapp all day if you want to run the ball. Now, if you get start passing, like, yo, them two dudes was MVP of the defense league. I mean, if you're going to pass, whoever behind me better be getting rid of it, you know? So, you know, they haven't been really tested against the run defensively. You know, for us to sit here as Bills fans and say, "Oh, we're number one in run defense."
But to be fair, they were stopping teams' initial run attack, which allowed the Bills to go up and be up big early, which then they had to fall back on their passing, which didn't work either.
I mean, you know, the Bills did make necessary stops when they had to make them. I mean, obviously the 4th and 1 with Taron Johnson and DeMar Johnson, you know, shut it down for the TFL. So, I mean, they were still able to make plays out there, shutting down the run. But it was like, well, damn, like 3rd and 16, they run the ball and convert. Like, you're like, what's really going on? You know what I mean? So, I don't know. The Bills is, you know, kind of playing real, you know, lackluster at some phases of that game. And I think they were just going through the motions because, you know, I guess they was up and just felt like, okay, we can just, you know, put it on cruise control now, and somebody's going to make a play, and Josh Allen's going to throw another bomb, and next, you know, it's 24-zip. And, you know, it wasn't the case this week, you know, but, and I think Green Bay did have a game plan. I went into the Green Bay presser afterwards to talk with Coach LaFleur and Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers is saying, man, we had a lot of things that was built for Christian Watson this week. And when he got hurt, that kind of dampened some of the game plan a little bit, because there was a lot of new sets that they had prepared for the Bills for that he was in. I mean, when you look at when they got that screenplay for him when he got hurt, wide open, you know, wide open screen that, you know, could have got the first down, you know, but you know, he got hurt and they wasn't able to take advantage of the game plan that they really had set for, but they still was able to, you know, find some success against this Bills defense. And, you know, it leads you to believe like, hey, if they don't fix that was just too wide open of an eyesore. I mean, it was big gaps too, and their alignment was off. I don't know what was going on with that defensive line, but those holes was too big. The alignment was off. I mean, you got Von Miller playing like a wide 9, and then the next closest guy inside is shading, is playing a 2-tech really over the guard. So the tackle is free to go upstairs to do whatever. And don't put a tight end next to him. Then now you got 2 free guys, because now I'm coming with Ruben Brown to come clean and take out the garbage over there on the right side on your end, while the tackle and the tight end is going upstairs. Holes wide open, you know, so they got to fix that. And we'll see. You know, they go up against New York. Breece Hall is hurt, but they do got James Robinson, Michael Carter, and those guys. I don't know. I just don't know. I just gotta give them a lackluster performance. See, I feel like Josh. I just got that nasty taste in my mouth, and you know, I just want to I just can't wait to next week just to get it out of there.
Yeah. It wasn't the most technically sound game, but hey, they did get the win. Right. And speaking of running, it's funny we said we was gonna touch on the Packers game, and we spent 20 minutes on it. Yeah. But speaking of running the ball, the Bills obviously were running the ball a ton. And Ruben kind of went into it a little bit. Yeah. Devin Singletary had an amazing game. He was absolutely balling. Obviously, Josh Allen was being the magician he was. People want to talk about how bad of a game Josh played, but with his legs, he was ridiculous. He had a few really good runs, and the Bills running the ball also, obviously, which kind of goes into our next topic as well. But they trade for Nyheim Hines from the Indianapolis Colts today. They trade Zach Moss and a conditional six-round pick for Nyheim Hines from the Indianapolis Colts. Muki, what went into that, and how you feel about it?
That's another head scratcher for me. I mean, Devin Singletary and Nyheim Hines, I can't say that they're like the same. They got the same body frame. Nyheim Hines is a little bit more explosive than Singletary, but when it comes down to being in the goal line, what Nyheim Hines going to give you? He's not going to run in between the tackles. It's not going to miss, make a guy miss in a hole there. He doesn't have that physical stature that you would think that, what the Bills need. Kareem Hunt's fit the bill a little bit more. I think, what the Bills are trying to do or what they're looking for in the back. You need a bigger back for, pass protection. You need a bigger back for short yard situations. You need a bigger back for inside the red zone. Getting Nyheim Hines, I mean, I would rather have Alvin Kamara. I would rather have Alvin Kamara, but it's a lot of things that go in with that pick. I mean, it's a good pick. Don't get me wrong. It's a good trade. You trade away Zach Moss, and then you get a conditional 6-round pick. So to get Nyheim Hines for a 6-rounder and to give up Zach Moss, who really hasn't, hit his stride with this offense, I think that's a win in my book. But I mean, they're kind of like the same player. You got Cook, you got Singletary, you got Hines now. The difference is, I think, where Hines is in the punt return game. So now, you got a more explosive guy that can return punts. He can return kicks. Definitely is a third down extraordinaire. So Singletary won't be out there now. You got your true third down back. But what did this does to James Cook? James Cook was the designated third down back now. So what does that do to the running back room? I can't wait to see how Ken Dorsey is going to make that work. How he's going to rotate those guys in, make plays and stuff like that. So we can't talk to him until next week about it. But I would rather have Kareem Hunt or Alvin Kamara in that regard. I mean, I don't know if it boiled down to money or a draft pick. To my understanding, that Cleveland wanted a 4th-round pick for Kareem Hunt services. I don't know if that was too rich for the Bills' blood at that time. Kamara, there was rumors for Kamara, the 4th-round pick, and his cap hit was fairly reasonable, but next year he holds a $16 million cap hit, so I don't know if that kind of scared the Bills with that. So you get a guy like Nyheim Hines. He do have a potential out in this year after this season if the Bills want to entertain him, restructure his deal at a lower rate. But all in all, this is letting me know that this offense is truly going through Josh Allen's arm this year. Maybe they have focus on putting a little bit more balance in the run game come next year. But for this Super Bowl run, this MVP run, it's all about Josh Allen this year.
Do you think we could see some Raheem Blackshear or maybe more Reggie Gilliam in the power run game since, like you said, they could kind of give up on Zach Moss?
Well, Blackshear is in Carolina now.
No.
Blackshear is in Carolina.
Oh, man,
yeah, they've been snatched him off the roster, off the practice squad. He's been in Carolina for like 3 weeks now. So you got Duke Johnson And I don't think he's going to get activated because they wouldn't have made the trade for Naeem Hines, another guy that's like the same type of player. We don't have a guy that's 6 foot 220. We need a violent physical. We need a big back, and the Bills don't have that. So that's letting me know that this year, for this MVP run in this Super Bowl, it's going through Josh Allen. This is Josh Allen last year for, I guess, doing that. Next year, they're going to probably get a bigger back that'll shoulder the load a little bit more. That's what I'm thinking. But it's clearly it's going through Josh Allen this year.
So this year, leading up to now, who had they used as their big back?
Josh Allen.
So while we are speculating, running back is really not a position I don't see where they looking that they saying they improve in or anything. They got what they want at that position. They actually lightening the load by getting rid of Cook because they didn't really, they weren't in love with him. And isn't this running back that we picked up from Indy? He has special teams expertise, right?
Yes, right. He does.
So what does a team that has everything and they still want to improve? They improve in an area where they have a luxury to improve, where other teams do not have that luxury to improve.
That's a good point.
So it's a little chess right there that they just played, by bringing him in, because who was doing the punt returning role before?
Shakur, Shakur, the rookie.
So now that gives him a breather, a break, an alternative, and another guy. Actually give you more depth, and at another skill position. And listen, none of us think about special teams while we sit up here and talk each day, all the time. We talk mostly offense and defense. And with this transaction, we just strictly talking the offense and the run game. The Bills don't run the damn ball. I mean, Josh run the damn ball, but the Bills definitely don't run the ball. We sit here and talk about how they successful without being a committed run team. So, it's whatever you want to make of it. I'm going to make this as a good trade and a good thing for the Bills, because I believe that it improved their team as a whole. Offensively, whoever they would have brought over on offense is the backup running back behind center. It didn't matter. It don't matter. Whether it's Chubb or whoever, it don't matter. We got Josh Allen. So, we don't have to spend a whole lot of money to go get a running back when we got 27 times was how many times they ran the ball yesterday. That is the most they done ran. Like, I'm talking handoff run play, not Josh Allen run plays. They ran the ball 27 times. That's unheard of, Buffalo Bills. Wow. You know what I mean? Usually Josh run on his own without the play even being called 10 times, Yeah. So this time they actually got 27 called run attempts in there. And this is I think they made a smart, conservative move by getting some special teams help and, some later draft picks. So good job, Brandon. Y'all keep doing it. They not fazed about saying, hey, we got to go make a big name splash, or we need some more help here, or that we got what we need. We could use a little paint for a little dent in the fender, but other than that, we good. They rolling. The Bills are good.
Yeah, I will say I do agree with you for the most part, Rube. That is a luxury, you know what I mean? To be able to get a special teams player so could potentially help out in the area that we don't have a definitive answer to. But at the same time, I kind of feel Muki when he says, you lose your big body bruiser, where I don't want Josh Allen to be our big body bruiser.
We don't.
I know he can be.
Yeah,
but I don't want him to be though. Like,
right.
you know, I don't want him to be another Cam Newton. You know, Cam had an extraordinary talent, and his body kind of deteriorated because all the hits he took, and I don't want that for Josh. So you know, I want him to be the 17, 25 year, however many years Brady's going to play. I want him to be that type of quarterback. So, you know, we'll see what happens there. But let's get into the rest of the trades that happened today, or well, the other trade, I should say. Dean Marlowe's back. Dean Marlowe. He was always a favorite of the Buffalo Bills. They always tried to keep him around. He went away, and they went ahead and got him back. Muki, what does that mean for Leslie Frazier and his defense, who absolutely love him?
Well, it's just, you know, the familiarity piece. You know, he knows the system. You bringing in somebody mid-season, you can't bring in a guy that doesn't know your scheme or anything like that. You got to get him caught up to par, especially if it's only for, you know, really, you know, it's all about this Super Bowl run that the Bills are on. And you know, it's not a long-term thing with Dean Marlowe, but he knows the system. He's been there for 3 years. He knows the ins and outs of Leslie Frazier's scheme. You know, he's a good guy in the community. Also, another special teams guy as well. So he gives you that familiarity and that continuity going forward. So I think that it was a good move from the Bills to go do that, especially if you're looking to fill a hole because not sure what Jordan Poyer's injury is going to be like. I don't know if he's going to play this week or whatever the case. We're going to find out more on that tomorrow when we meet with the guys. But for them to be, you know, going to get a safety, that's letting you know that, you know, even with Poyer being out there, he's still dealing with these injuries. So you want to have a guy out there that knows your system, that's been there before. And Marlowe gives you that. And not to say that, you know, DeMar Hamlin and Jaquan Johnson hasn't played well. It's just that, you know, this guy, he's been in every situation for the Buffalo Bills. He's familiar with their scheme. And there's another guy that could help that back end when it comes down to relaying the calls correctly to the front end. So more of a familiarity piece, if anything, for the Buffalo Bills on this move. It's not as sexy as everybody would want it to be, but it's sexy enough for the Bills because, again, that familiarity within the scheme to help that back end, you know, due to the injuries to your safeties.
Ruben, have you ever had a situation where like one of your teammates got traded away and then they kind of came back a little bit later in their career, and how much of a difference maker it was for the team?
No, most of everybody, when they were gone. And
yeah, man, what the Bills is doing right now, Justus, they ain't never been done before. Guys is leaving and coming back. Man, that ain't happened. When guys left here, they stay gone.
Well, I will tell you right now, in the modern football day it is right now, it's more likely that a player can go and come back. It's possible. In the past, no. In the past, it was too personal, or they were trying to keep you where you were, you know, one or the other. Once they let you go, that means they meant to let you go. It was time to go and go somewhere else. So to have a rerun in this is a modern day thing. This is totally new to me. And it's got to be refreshing for a guy to go away and, you know, be welcomed back into the organization. And it's more to say exactly the way Muki said. Those guys, he's coming back because he's got a rapport with the group, well, the coach, and the coach knows that he knows what's expected of him and in the position. And all of that is big. And also communicating with the new young guys that are out there. You know, it'd be different if it was an old guy that was maybe successful in his career, but he comes over here and he doesn't know anything about the Buffalo Bills makeup. But this guy actually does know about the Bills makeup. He's older, he's mature, and he'd definitely be easy for the rookies when he's out there to just talk with them because, you know, he knows more than the rookies. And the rookies playing damn good. So rookies don't need much help. If he could come in and give us what we're expecting that he can give for us, that experience and that knowledge, I'm not going to question anything that the Bills do, Brandon Beane them decide to do, man, because, their batting average is like 900 right now. Some unheard of. Like they batting that joker. If it ain't going out of the park, they hitting it up against the wall. So I'm down to ride with them. It looks good. It sounds good. It smells good right now. When we get the win, I'll know whether it tastes good.
Yeah, I feel like, aside from some one-offs here and there, like Deshaun Jackson going back to the Eagles, etc. I feel like the Patriots is the only team I recall seeing this happen frequently to, where a player leaves, maybe they don't use them the right way, or I don't know, the environment is just not right. So you go back to the Patriots and then they start balling again. Yeah. So to see it, with us from guys like Shaq Lawson, Jordan Phillips, and Dean Marlowe now, like it's pretty interesting. So
it's a modern day thing. It's definitely new. In the past, it would not happen. Would not happen in the past.
Yeah, I know it gotta make you feel good too when you leave a team and then they trade back for you.
Yeah, bring you back. Some of those cases, I think the closest thing that I've seen to that in my day was, when they would cut the team and they would leave a guy either out on the practice squad, he get picked up somewhere, but then they bring him back. So that I seen a lot of. A guy on the practice squad that went to camp with us, get cut, bounce around to a couple of teams, then we laughing because like, oh, here comes so-and-so back. The Bills brought him back. And we knew we probably would bring him back, something like that. So I know it's refreshing for the player, for coming back to a familiar place. That's a huge relief. We could probably see him have some good play based on that.
Oh, he's gonna be amped up, man. You go from, don't get me wrong, Atlanta was, competing, in their division, fairly close, but to go back to a team that that's on destination for a Super Bowl, I know he got to be real excited to, be coming back to that team.
Wait a minute, let me ask a question. I forget his origins. He was drafted by the Bills or a free agent?
No, he wasn't drafted by the Bills. It's just that he's a Carolina product. He was with McDermott and those guys in Carolina.
That's how I know it. Yeah.
And, he came here. He was a solid quality depth piece for 3 years with special teams. He's a backup with Poyer High. He was the first backup to Poyer.
Yeah, I remember now.
3 years. Good size, 6'1", 215 pounds. He's a smacker. So
this makes sense.
Yeah. So I know he's ecstatic to be, leaving Atlanta to come back here to help Bills get on this Super Bowl run. So I know he's really excited about that. And he's a community guy too. So, Bills Mafia will be happy to know that guy is back.
Yeah. Bills Mafia, do we need some?
So we have a little bit of a debate or more of a conversation brewing in the comments. So I want to ask you guys about it. There seems to be some people who think that we should be seeing more of Khalil Shakir than Isaiah McKenzie in the lineup right now. What do you guys think about it? I'm going to start with you, Muki.
Well, I guess, wow. I'm going to trust the coaches, honestly. They know what they're building. And I think at the beginning of the season, I don't think I had as much confidence in McKenzie. That's me. I'm not as versed on him and his skill and everything. I wasn't like looking at him as he is right now for us. You see what I'm saying? I thought he was going to be good, but I didn't know whether he was going to come along and be consistent for us. He had shown flashes, but I'm like, is he going to be? Now this season, he's being that guy. So substituting him, having someone else come in and compete for his rotation, that part I would question. Because I'm totally a believer of letting the hot hand roll and he's been building, and he's proven himself. I think I don't know to the coaching staff, but to me, he's definitely proven himself to me, because coming into the season, I'm like, if this guy catches on fire, well, we got something really good to add on. I've seen some things from him, but is he going to, make that step? And it looks like he's making that step, and I'm happy with that. Now, to bring someone else in to add, hey, the more, I know the saying is the more the merrier sometimes, but also too many cooks can spoil the stew, and that competition, because there ain't a little infighting. Receivers want that rock, and if you sub me, all right, that's one less catch I can have. It sounds innocent, but those things can inflame into a big issue. Just simply one rep can turn a guy into like, oh, wait a minute, you giving my rep up now? You know what I mean? So I hope none of that's happening. I trust the coaching staff, because they're killing it. They're doing the right thing. I do worry a little bit when a young guy that was in McKenzie, I'm talking about me, guys. Y'all might know more about him, be like, oh, he was cold, he was good. To me, I was still kind of like, is this kid gonna come along? He could be good, he might be good. He's worth looking at as a chance. And I also said at the beginning, if he comes along, oh man, the Bills are rocking and rolling. Well, he's coming along. So now that he's coming along, I'm nervous. This is me. I'm nervous. Anything that mess with his progress could throw him off. I don't want him thrown off because he's killing it. So y'all tell me how y'all see it, but that's how I see it.
I would say that he was more so just kind of like extremely inconsistent for me, the way I saw it. He had very, very high highs. But he also had some very, very, very low lows.
Yeah.
But what's your thoughts on it, Muki? You think Khalil Shakir should get more reps? I don't know. I don't want to say more than McKenzie, but you think he should be getting more reps?
No. Because you look at it, McKenzie got hurt, and I think that kind of like stunted his growth. The Bills was getting him acclimated into the offense, filling in that Cole Beasley role, and they did have Jamison Crowder, and he ended up getting hurt. So that's where I feel Khalil Shakir fits in the more. He gets the Jamison Crowder reps. He doesn't get the Isaiah McKenzie reps, okay? And, that's letting you know that Isaiah McKenzie is the clear-cut number 3 as he was to start the season. That hasn't changed. Now, what could change that is next month when OBJ get here. That's going to change that. So, and we talking about Khalil Shakir and McKenzie. 30 days from now,
the whole team up.
30 days from now, it's going to be OBJ's reps.
I hear
that number 3.
Yeah. Amen.
But yeah, I don't have a problem with it. But it's Isaiah McKenzie. The Bills like that veteran. He knows the playbook. He knows the system. Josh is comfortable with him. He knows the spots. How Josh throw the ball. So you got that continuity piece. And again, that continuity outweighs a lot of things. When coming to being out there, you got to trust that guy to be in that certain spot that he needs to be in order for the play to work. Even if I'm a decoy, I got to make sure I get the proper depth on this route to take the linebacker away, to help my other guy, to help my teammates. So all those little things that you don't look for in the game, Isaiah McKenzie does. And, right now he's the clear-cut number 3 until 30 days from now. OBJ get here, then we can ask that question again.
I want y'all to know, Muki has been extremely consistent in saying OBJ is going to come here. Extremely confident as well. So it's got me like, he must know something. Like,
look, you see how Justus, you see how smooth Muki doing. He just matter of fact. Ain't no dancing around. He matter of fact. Yeah, when he get here.
Right.
When he get here.
I'm just taking Von Miller's word for it. Just saying. I'm taking his word for it. And I believe what he's saying.
I hear you.
All right, so
homeboy here. So
You talked earlier about Dean Marlowe and how he is a veteran presence that's going to be able to help out the younger, rookie, or second, third, year defensive backs that are balling but inexperienced nonetheless. Another one, Tre'Davious White was let off the PUP list today. I mean, already. Well, I don't know what the numbers look like after this last week, but I mean, they only let the team score 17 points, so it's got to be still pretty good. Number 1, 2 defense in the NFL gets back its best player. What does that mean?
Oh man, that's player. I mean, number one, I'm nervous about Tre'Davious because you know how Tre'Davious got that energy. You know what I mean? And I've been in a situation where I've been out for a while, and then that first game back, oh man, you flying high, you jumping all over the place, man. You tire yourself out in the first 10 minutes of the game, and you have a whole game because you're so excited to be back out there and participate and go again. So I have my fingers crossed that the Bills, number one, and I'm sure Muki, you've talked to him, they're going to have him on a rollout situation. It's not going to be just put him back on the field and full on go, because they have time to have build him into playing shape. I mean, because there's 8 games before he hits the field that everyone else has ahead of him. And not unless he's way different than Superman or something. I know every player in the NFL, their first game of the season, they get gassed, and that's what I worry about. But getting gassed isn't a bad thing. It's really, you have to do it, because all your training and everything that you do just isn't going to get you in playing game 60-minute, 4-quarter, possible overtime shape. You can run all the track and all the thing until you actually play a 4-quarter physical game. Then you in shape. You in shape probably your end of your second, going into your third game. That is when you are physically in shape, ready for the season. So for Tre'Davious coming back, I know that the Bills are going to be smart about his play count. So one, he can get acclimated to being back on the field. Things definitely, no matter how great he is, things are faster, game speed and live, than it is practice or anything. So, I mean, this is ideal. One of the best players that the Bills have to offer returns on their run. I mean, because it was 7 games in the bag, right, guys?
Mm-hmm.
And 8 left to go.
10, really.
Well, 10, yeah. It's at one point back in the old day, this would be the halfway point,
right?
You know what I mean? So, if we look at it in that sense, they get their best player back at the halfway mark. He can work himself into the game plan, and come playoff time, boy, we should be jumping out our socks. Yeah. I'm excited to see him back, man. I really like him.
Yeah, I'm excited to see him back too, but I'm not sure if we're going to see him play Sunday. He got activated.
It's smart to not play him.
Yeah, I don't see why we shouldn't play exactly.
Yeah, it's smart not to play him.
And then you got to look at it too. The Meadowlands, they got that nasty turf. So if we thinking about that, I want to have my guy make his debut on that turf. And I think this is a game, if he do play, to be very, 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 very limited. Just to get him acclimated, because now you got to look at it. They can't make him a healthy scratch, because now you're messing with the man's money, right? So I know they're not about to have Tre'Davious as a healthy scratch. Now he'll be out there in uniform, and he'll probably play in a limited role. If anything, just they got to bring him back gradually. They can't just bring him right back out there like he never left, because now you put him out there and he can be susceptible to other injuries like a hamstring, soft tissue injuries and stuff like that. So make sure that he's back in tip-top condition running around, changing, from north to west, laterally, opening and turning the hips and stuff like that. See how fluid he is first. But I think that you got Xavier Rhodes too. They just designated this back on the practice squad too. So you got Xavier Rhodes relatively healthy. You got Tre'Davious White. What it is going to do on the back end, because Dane Jackson didn't get traded today. So still got Dane, you got Christian, you got Kyer. So not only if the Bills got one of the top defensive lines in the league right now, on the back end, that secondary is looking damn good too. And that's, without Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde, being available. So when they get Tre'Davious back, you get another vocal guy who knows the system in and out blindfolded. That's going to help those younger guys, So, yeah, it's good to finally, see that, the progress is working out to the point where, he can play. So now it's just like, do you risk him bringing him back too early? You need him for the playoffs. So I think the Bills are going to monitor that situation on a week-to-week leading up until, I say, at least the rest of this month. Then next month, then you'll see Tre'Davious more full throttle at the position.
All right, so is there anything you can tell us about Jordan Poyer's injury? And is there more to Dean Marlowe being traded back here than just the Bills missed his services? Like, could that actually be because there's something serious going on with Jordan?
Well, I mean, if Poyer goes down, you got to bring somebody up, and the Bills don't have a guy to do that. Like, who's the backup safety? Who backs up DeMar Johnson and Jaquan Johnson?
Yeah, DeMar. Yeah,
they don't have a guy. Josh Thomas was that guy for a few years off the practice squad, but he got picked up by I think the Raiders picked Josh Thomas from out of App State. So they don't have a backup. If the Bills were to lose one of those two guys to injury, you might have to move Christian Benford to safety or Saran Neal, at that spot. So to get a guy who knows, the system, the familiarity is an insurance policy to just that.
All right. Yeah. Hey. I hope not, man. I hope it's not anything bad, like too bad. Jordan Poyer obviously is a huge part of our defense. And
yeah, I'm right. No, he didn't text me back. I asked him, how was the arm doing?
Something smell, Muki.
Huh?
I'm gonna tell y'all right now, something smell.
Yeah, I tell you what. If I'm a coach, I'm not expecting Poyer to play this week.
I know that, but something smell. Something
smell. They need to sign that guy. That guy's sitting up here driving 16 hours there, 16 hours back. Man, playing on one arm, broken lung, ribs. You know what I mean? This guy is really giving this team its all.
Yes.
They got to find a way to make that right. They got to find a way to make that right. They got to keep Poyer here. I mean, the guy is expressing more than enough of a leadership role on, doing things the right way. He ain't making a fuss over the contract, but he definitely want to stay in Buffalo. I can tell you that for sure. He don't want to leave Buffalo.
I tell you what we need to focus on, because I smell something. Need to focus on Poyer getting healthy, coming back on the field, and winning the Super Bowl.
Right.
All right. We win the Super Bowl. Whatever happens after that, it's going to not matter one bit. Whether Poyer here, gone, different, don't matter, because he forever will be, Super Bowl champion winning Buffalo Bill. You know what I mean? Somebody else can pay him if they want. But I'm sure it'd be much more satisfying for him whether he's here or he's there, whatever.
Rube, let me ask you this real quick. Do you think, let's say Josh Allen and Jordan Poyer win a Super Bowl. Now he is Super Bowl champion winning Buffalo Bill, right?
Yeah.
Do you think Josh Allen can become two-time Super Bowl winning quarterback if Jordan Poyer is not back that next year?
I think the Bills think they can without Poyer. I think they can. I really do. And I hate for them to try to find that out without him. You know, because I know there's been a lot of teams in history that be like, oh, we replaced this guy. I know he's a big instrumental part, but we'll replace him. We'll find another young guy. And plus, we got the big arm over there. And every team is different. Every little piece counts. Look at the instrumental insertion of Von Miller. And you potentially lose Poyer. I smell something, guys. Let's just win the Super Bowl.
They win the Super Bowl, like you said, Rube, then I guess all bets are off, and then the Bills will be talking about, I don't want to say a rebuild, but a restructuring to the point where they say, okay, hey, we appreciate you. Go get your bag. And, you know, that's just something that the Bills are going to have to, they're going to have to face it regardless with somebody on this roster, whether it's Devin Singletary, Jordan Poyer, Tremaine Edmonds, Roger Saffold, Shaq Lawson, Jordan Phillips. All these guys' contracts are gone. Jaquan Johnson, right? So it's going to be a lot of guys that's going to fit that mold. Okay, well, thank you for the Super Bowl. We'll send you your ring, you know, to the city that you playing in. But let me say this though, Rule.
When now?
You leave the door open. You leave the door open for teams in your division to throw that money at you and intel.
Yeah.
So team like Miami, for instance, you put Jordan Poyer in Miami with Javon Holland.
Oh, yeah. You're gonna have some trouble.
You're gonna have some trouble.
Just win this year.
And a guy who knows everything,
let's have
a guy who knows your entire defense. The defense was built for him. You're gonna let that go to the enemy, to the ops, because you won a Super Bowl.
I'm nervous. I told you I smell something.
I'm just saying it ain't gotta be Miami or anything like that. But we know Miami got a bag to play with next year, and they playing. So,
hey, Justus, all of this, if you knew that you were gonna win the Super Bowl this year, guaranteed, would you even be worried about what happens next year?
See, I hear what you're saying. and people tell me that all the time, and I get the mindset behind that. But Brandon Beane and worked too hard to build a perennial Super Bowl contender.
Well, that's
to just give it all up for 1 year. You know what I mean?
Well, that being said, we could continue on just this side. With that being said, then for him to be a perennial, he's gonna have to make the tough choice. Some people gonna go. Some people gonna go. Just how it is. Hey, Bruce Smith was let go. I mean, and you break it down on the high.
Wild statement, but
I don't care how hard any player on this team ever get. It could be Josh Allen. They let Bruce Smith go. All right, so all of us gonna go one day. Everybody's gonna go. Hopefully, you can retire a Bill, you know, and walk away gracefully like Ken Hall, you know. But most are gonna get the axe or the letter, or the guy gonna knock on your door. Hey, bring that playbook with you. Oh, damn!
You already know what that means.
I did. They told me it's like, we want you to come in so we can find. I said, get the hell out of here. I said, fuck y'all. Hey, well, we need the playbooks. I throw them outside my door. I said, come pick them up. I said, come pick them up. They in my driveway. You can get them. They ain't coming. He coming in for you to fire me. I'm gonna raise. If you don't fire me before I show up in the building, I'm gonna act a fool. You know, don't make me come to work and then fire my ass. I'm a real black man. I'm gonna be off. Don't be calling me. Don't get my day in and then fire me while I done did the work days work. No, motherfucker, call me so I can stay at home. I can get fired up at home. Fuck that.
So, all right, see, that's Ratchet Rube y'all witnessing right now.
I'm just saying. I'm just letting you know on the player side. You know, it ain't no love over there. They're gonna let your ass go.
Somebody said something in the comments. It's pretty funny.
That's a nerve right there, boy.
They're gonna let us all go.
So my boy Spin in the comments, he said Josh Allen ain't ever going, which kind of got me thinking, right?
Yeah.
Brett Favre got let go, right? Traded, whatever. Joe Montana got let go, traded, whatever. Peyton Manning got let go, traded, or whatever. So typically, these great.
I want to put this one in, Justice. I'm sorry to butt in. Tom Brady, all intensive purposes, was let go. All right.
Okay.
We all get let go.
So the reason I brought those up is because behind Montana was Steve Young, right? Behind Peyton Manning was Andrew Luck. Behind Brett Favre was Aaron Rodgers, right? So now I want to ask you guys a question. Would you guys rather see Josh Allen retire a Buffalo Bill, or would you rather see the Bills have to move forward from him because he's kind of old and a little washed, and an up-and-coming guy could come over and be the quarterback for the next 2 decades?
Myself, I would love to see him get to a level where he says, I'm about to retire, and the Bills fortunately have a young quarterback, sort of like a Favre Rodgers situation. You know, not as volatile I would like it to be. I'd like the transition to be like Josh is old and tired and ready to move on to something else. You know, won 3 Super Bowls or 4 Super Bowls, and we want to keep it going. We just draft another young kid, and Josh can go around waving his hand, say thank you, and go, and then we keep it moving. But, you know, will that happen? And we don't know. Let's get the first Super Bowl first.
Right. Let's worry about the first one first.
Yeah,
then, you know, we'll worry about that question down the line. But
it
has the potential to do it. I mean, he can make us even, Steven. You know, we know the Bills, they lost 4 straight. And the Bills right now, they could easily win 4 straight. So let's just concentrate on the first one. And we know that this one is definitely going through the arm of Josh Allen and the legs of Josh Allen. This is his MVP year. So I get it. They're going to, you know, run the table with Josh Allen. Go ahead and rack off this MVP. Go ahead and lead us to the Super Bowl. And then, you know, next year, we're going to probably protect you with a bigger back like Bijan Robinson there from out of Texas. I'm just saying.
Okay, we got a little prediction. All right, cool. I like it. All right, so that is going to lead us to our kneel down. We're going to start off with the one and only Muki Hawkins himself. A moment.
Coach!
Muki. What is on your mind today, Coach?
What is on my mind? What the hell is going on with this run game? It's killing me. The first drive, Devin Singletary gets the bulk of his 67 yards on one drive in the first half. Then, you know, you don't give him the ball anymore. Like, what are we doing inside the red zone? Like, why are we not getting into 12 personnel or 13 personnel playing power football inside the red zone? We are in a damn shotgun on the 1 yard line. Like, I don't have no understanding to what are we calling at times. And, you know, we're this elite Super Bowl contending team. Sometimes I feel that the Bills be in their own way and, you know, they just do goofy shit and it looks bad. You know what I mean? Sometimes, you know, they do things that don't strike as a Super Bowl caliber team, and it leads you to scratch your head like, what in the hell are they doing? But they so damn explosive and so damn good, they can afford to do that. You know, but you can't keep doing that stuff. The Bills need to show that they're a little bit more, that they can execute a little bit more better than what they are. You know, and mid-season, whatever the case, the Bills need to show me that, you know, going into this next stretch of games, because when you look at it, the Bills are on the top of the AFC conference, but they are dead last in the AFC East. So they have to they better get their shit together, because, you know, you play the Jets this weekend. You ain't got to win in the division. So you got to come in there focused and hungry to want to get in the win column in your division. If you ain't winning games in your division, you can kiss home field advantage goodbye too. So I don't care what's going on. They in the driver's seat that way, but they in the basement, you know, when it comes to the AFC East division right now. And I'm gonna have a good time on letting them know that tomorrow when I speak with Josh and stuff.
All right, we'll see if that fires them up a little bit. Yeah, absolutely. All right, next up we have the legendary Ruben Brown, Hall of Famer himself. Ruben's rundown. What's on your mind today, Rube?
Well, speaking of getting fired up, I got a little something for the Bills Mafia fans out there to get fired up. Help them with their fired up situation. So I got these things right here. See this right here? That's the Mafia. And on the inside of it, for all those Mafia guys that love their collectibles, inside here, hold on, let me see. Inside they got a little canister to hold your goods in and things like that. Got a little grinder in there, grind your herbals. You know what I mean?
Your teas.
Yeah, your herbals. No, they're real herbals. We can talk about it now. We ain't underground no more. You know what I mean? This is the real life stuff. It's very important because I love getting fired up, and I'm fired up for this season. I'm fired up for this season, number one, because the Bills are sneaky deceptive. They are playing chess right now. This team came out and put their foot on everybody's neck with their play calling, being aggressive. Then here we go. We play Green Bay. They come out and start running in some different formations and stuff like that. I said, oh, so they're getting on film now, something that the opponents are going to have to defend against that they necessarily don't even need to use in order to win. Think about that. I've been complaining about their run game all year long. Like, commit someone to the run. Don't have Josh run the ball. Josh has run the ball 53 attempts doing it. Usually that's what a running back gets. The next guy running the ball, 71 attempts by a real running back, which in intensive purposes, at this point in time this season, that running back should have had way over 100 touches. But, all of that goes over to Josh. Now, and the reason why we and I discuss having an effective run game by a running back or someone other than Josh Allen, just because I'm a little nervous about him possibly hurting a thumb, twisting an ankle or something that would then limit him in our aggressive passing game, So I was encouraged by the runs, but also I was discouraged once they were doing well with the run, and then they switched it up to something else and didn't stick with the run as I would have loved them to do so. So I have a bunch of mixed emotions after this past game. I saw the run. I was like, oh man, that's like I saw an albino elephant. I'm like, oh wow, I saw it, but then it disappeared. You know what I mean? And so that's where I am right now with the Bills. I'm excited. I'm a little bit confused about this whole running scenario in the running game. So I'm just waiting for them to really fire it up and commit, have some commitment more with the running game. And they'll need that as the season goes on and later in the year when it gets cold and wet and we're going to have snow on the ground and, it's going to be icy and all of that. And we're going to need a guy just to turn around, hand the ball off to, get us a couple yards and, secure the victory, give the defense a rest, type thing. I mean, because our offense as is today, they don't really give the defense any rest because they score. They do have a few long drives here, but usually they pop that ball down there, they score and defense back out there. So these are reasons why I'm looking for more of a run game, but also I was excited about what I did see that came out of the run game this week. So Like I said, everybody just keeps tuning in to us, and you could own one of these right here. Bills Mafia. Holla at your boy. Holla. We get fired up.
Get lit.
All right, and lastly, we got a general rule with yours truly, Justice General Bradford. So for me, I'm gonna kind of piggyback off of Ruben said a little bit. I think it's Brandon Beam, Brandon Beam, Sean McDermott, all the guys. I think it's them playing a little bit of chess, right? You pick a game late October, coming off of bye week. The energy may be a little low, you may be a little rusty, et cetera, et cetera. So what do? You prove to the world that you have a run game that they said you liked. And of course, Devin Singletary averages almost 5 yards a pop, but for whatever reason, people think we don't have an effective run game. And I don't think it's anything to do with the effectiveness or the efficiency of it. I think it's more to do with the lack of attempts, and so I think that they wanted to prove a point. Come on, say we can run the ball. We'll run the ball if we have to. And like you said, Rube, I like the fact that they got it out the way at home, prime time, to show the world, on a clear night, where there is no 50-mile-per-hour winds, there's no snow, there's no slush. I think that it was smart to establish it now so that you can use it when you need it going forward. And also so you can have the confidence to know that you can do it, because you thinking you got the confidence to do it, and now it's snowing and you getting busted in the head. Now what? So I like what they're doing. I like it. I'm not too worried about the Packers win. To me, honestly, the Packers win was encouraging because they played like crap. Yeah. And it was not even close. Like, you could say, okay, 10 points, whatever. But if you watch the game, it was not close. I was there. I was never worried. It was like, oh, okay, they scored again. Okay, they close. I was never worried. So, I like what they're doing. They played a really bad game and still won the game handily versus one of, if not the greatest quarterback of all time. So, I was really encouraged by it. But either of you guys have anything else before we get up out of here?
Oh, no, one love. Let's keep it fired up, fellas. I'm excited. Let's go, Jets. We'll talk some more.
All right. Now, next week we may have, or this week, later on this week, may have your boy Richie Incognito on deck.
Oh, yeah, Jersey.
Yeah. We'll talk a little something, Jets, and then I'm quite sure, Ruben got something planned for this weekend. We'll talk about that as well. But
for sure,
for the most part, just got to continue on to seeing what's going on with Poyer, how Tre'Davious White is looking in practice tomorrow. What Nyheim Hines. I'm quite sure we're going to be interviewing him. We're going to be probably interviewing Brandon Beane tomorrow about, these trades is happening. So, got a lot of things to talk about. Just make sure you stay locked in and believe in Bills. Stay locked in the fan base. Stay locked in the Power 96.5. Stay locked in, Buffalo. Only thing I got to ask you now, do you believe?
Go Bills.
Bet Online is the fastest and easiest way to wager on all your favorite sports contests and events with first-to-market odds and lines. Now, find reviews and news for every league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, esports, and even golf. Bet Online continues to be the top online resource for all sports information, from live in-game betting props and futures. Head to Bet Online today or use your mobile device to join today and make your first sports bet. Now, use our promo code BLEAV50 to receive your 50%. Welcome your bonus on your first deposit. Now, Bet Online is where the game starts.